Wednesday on the show, but also every Wednesday we go around the room. It's going to be pretty easy this week because they just beat the brakes off the Seahawks. Purple Positivity Wednesday here. We'll start with Judd. What is the most positive thing that you can say about the Vikings right now?
I actually saw this out of Zim's press conference that was taking place as we started the show, I believe, and it is incredibly positive. Now, Kirk not getting vaccinated clearly caused some issues and friction, and you would hope that he does not have to miss time because of the protocols. But I saw another thing today from Zim saying that he has continued now what's become the weekly tradition of watching film with Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. And the positivity, it's not just what Mike can share with Kirk or the fact that they're going coach to player. It's the relationship, which I have always thought was non-existent. And in some ways, I think that this whole blow up with Mike saying, get vaccinated, and Kirk like being, no, I'm not going to. I think it's actually brought them closer now, closer than they've been. And you know what? One, it can't hurt Kirk, as we've discussed previously, to sit down with a defensive guru and break down the players he's going to face. Two, it's just good that, and this sounds really, really stupid, it's just good that head coach and quarterback are talking on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. And three, I think Kirk, as an employee of the team, probably feels a lot better about things when it appears the guy who runs the team, at least on game day, cares about what Kirk thinks. So the purple positivity is in some strange ways. And again, this is assuming that Kirk doesn't get caught by the protocols and have to miss time. But if he doesn't, I actually think this whole convoluted, weird thing of the vaccination kerfuffle might help this team, and the fact that it has brought head coach and quarterback closer than they have almost certainly been. And I had heard going way back that Kirk had requested that Mike watch film, and Mike had always been like, I got stuff to do and blah, blah, blah. Well, this changed that. So that's not a bad thing, and Kirk's playing great.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a coincidence. And by the way, it's a good segue because I've got a couple Kirk things for you too here in Purple Positivity. But to your points, how can it be a bad thing? Two things that happened this offseason that I think absolutely are contributing to Kirk's hot start. Watching film with one of the most respected and smartest defensive coaches in the NFL. And by the way, Mike, this is how you become more of the all-encompassing head coach that you've always seemed to struggle to become, right? Yes, defense is going to be your focus. You're going to spend more time because you're calling defensive plays. I get that your attention is going to be focused more on that side of the ball. So in the limited time you're going to spend on offense, what's the most productive and effective thing you can do? Sit down with the most important player on the roster, even for like an hour a week, and break down some important film. And bring your defensive expertise and say, listen, all right, you're looking at this is how they're trying to attack you. Or, hey, in some of these key situations, let's think about this, right? Just building that relationship. It's the most important relationship you can have on your team. So that's the first thing. Like, that can only help Kirk, and I think it clearly has. And the second thing is, we talked about this on Purple After Dark last night with Realistic Randy. Check that out if you missed it last night. We go live at 11 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday nights with a Surly in hand, and we talk football. Kirk, for the first time in his career, went back and watched all of the film of all of his games 6 years as a starter. Mm-hmm. So it's the most like self-evaluation that he's ever done. I know Judd, after every season, goes back and listens to every episode of Mackie and Judd and Purple Daily and critiques his own performance. So for a masterful professional like Judd, this seems like a no-brainer.
Yep.
But like Kirk had never done it before. He'd never done the self-scouting. So that dude watched every snap of his entire career, if you believe him, and now he's sitting down with Mike Zimmer once a week.
Yep.
Those things should make you better. Those things should make you better when there's pressure in your face on 3rd down and 5. When it's 3rd down and 12, they know you're going to pass. Find Adam Thielen, like the little margins. Like, is he going to get 50% better? No, he's already a good quarterback. But can he get better in these situations where he has traditionally struggled? And so far, the answer has been yes.
And it just helps probably a lot to know that Mike cares. Like, he's trying to help now. I mean, it is, on the surface, incomprehensible that the head coach and quarterback, and I don't care what the coach's forte is, wouldn't have a relationship where the quarterback spends a fairly substantial amount of time in the coach's office once a week.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do grade myself each year, and I like to grade myself and put something down. Last year was an A plus. Last year was an A plus.
Okay.
I checked the film. I watched it backwards.
We'll see if the PFF grade checks out with that.
It was somewhere between Jerry Rice in his prime and Moss, Barry Sanders too.
So it's like two different positions, just between a Moss and a.
It was so awe-inspiring to hear my takes.
I mean, you hit 400 and write that down.
It's very odd.
Your takes are honed.
It's very odd for a grown man to listen to his own work and cry because it's so good, but that's my problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm tearing up every time I think about what I do.
You like that?
Good
You
God.
like that?
All right. Purple Positivity continues with some Kirk Cousins nuggets. So the Vikings offensive line has kept Kirk clean, according to Pro Football Focus, 73% of dropbacks, which is really good. That's, to this point, top 7 in the league. Now, ESPN.com has another way they measure. It's a slightly different form, but it's the team pass block win rate, and they're like 21st or 22nd, so it's like a 52% rate. So I don't know, but when they keep him clean, Kirk Cousins is the highest graded quarterback in the NFL through 3 games, according to PFF. He's got a 94 grade out of 100 when they keep him clean. And he's completed 81% of his passes for 763 yards, 7 touchdowns, and no interceptions when the pocket is clean. And so I don't think it's a mystery to anyone who's watched Kirk throughout his entire career that, like, when things are perfect, clean pocket, receivers get some space, right? Like, he can dissect the defense. The knock has always been when things aren't perfect, when they get muddy, when they get off schedule, when the offensive line isn't that great. How do you hold up? And he traditionally doesn't hold up as well in those situations. So can you keep him clean, and can you keep conditions as perfect as possible? And when you can, he's excellent, and he's even more excellent this year than in previous years. But, like, if you can do that and run some play action, he's always going to put up ridiculous numbers. You know, we still have to see more, and this game against the Browns might present some muddy and imperfect opportunities for him, right? How do you play when someone's in your face? How do you play when they know you're going to pass? And he played well in those situations against the Seahawks. And so that's what I'm curious more about, that stuff. Like, all right, lead your team on a game-winning drive, that type of stuff. And he's been good in those areas so far this year, but it is worth noting how excellent he's been with a clean pocket so far this season.
I also think that the fact that Kirk appears to be willing to, or has worked on his timing and delivering the football quicker, I think that probably helps in the relationship between the quarterback and the line, don't you? Because now you see, because the frustrating thing about Kirk was everything has to be perfect, and that's got to drive the O-line nuts, because they're probably like, when we go back and watch the film, dude, you've got some time, and yet you hold the football and you pat the football and then you get sacked, and we look like bozos. I really in some roundabout way think the friction that happened in training camp might come back and help them, because it feels like people are far more on the same page, which in August was not the case. And I really think in the last couple of years in September was not the case. I think the linemen are probably going to try harder and do a better job when you're trying to help them. And the Cousins that we saw on Sunday helped them.
I want to add the other numbers here too. So when he's under pressure, which again, it's been a lot less than they've kept the pocket clean a lot through the first 3 games. When he's under pressure, his completion percentage this year drops from 81% to 51%. Yards per attempt go from 8.5 to 5.5. And his grade goes from 94 to 53. You know, you compare that to Kyler Murray, for example. Kyler Murray under pressure, 11 yards per attempt, 87 grade out of 100 PFF. You know, 62% completions, just ridiculous. Tom Brady under pressure this year. He hasn't been great this year, but Tom Brady under pressure has an 81 grade out of 100. So there's still a huge contrast between perfect conditions and clean and not. But if they can keep him clean, he's going to keep picking defenses apart. So it's been fun to watch. All right, Declan, Purple Positivity.
Yeah, man. My Purple Positivity is that this offense is delivering. Last year when they were, fourth in points, or fourth in yards, 11th in points, there was a differential there. And it was like, well, they're kind of wrapping up garbage time points. They're a decent offense, but they're not as good as the yards indicate. I think this offense is damn good and is finally delivering, and it's awesome to see. Obviously, losing Irv Smith, we kind of thought too, oh man, even though there's some weapons here, that's going to be a big blow to this offense. Tyler Gronklin has filled up and played very, very well in Irv Smith's absence. You got 2 wide receivers who are still playing very, very good. And then Alexander Madison, who stepped in for Dalvin Cook, chalks up 160 yards last week against a bad Seattle defense, but still a good sign to see that everyone is performing. So this Vikings offense, it's going to carry them. The idea of this defense being top 10 and being what it used to be under Mike Zimmer, I think it's too far-fetched. This offense finally is legit, and it's delivering, and there's no garbage time to it. It's a pretty damn good offense. That's my Purple Positivity.
Yep. Yeah, there's no reason why the offense can't just be the strength of the team. I know that Mike Zimmer's identity as a coach is that we lead with defense. It's like, dude, do whatever you can to just make sure this offense reaches its peak potential, and then however good your defense can be, whatever that looks like, great, that's fine. But Dalvin Cook, by the way, just said this about Kirk Cousins, according to the Athletic. You give him a clean pocket, he's the best in the game. That's how I feel about my quarterback. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Love it, man. So, all right, there's plenty more positive to say. We've been talking about a lot of it this week. But that's your Purple Positivity of the week here. Tomorrow, we're going to do State of the Offense. I want you guys to think about this question. Oh, by the way, we're also scheduled to have Scott Studwell to tell some old Viking stories tomorrow, too. We might just do those in 2 different episodes, I guess. We'll see. But here's a question I want you to ponder for tomorrow. State of the Vikings offense. If Kirk keeps playing this way, at what point do you think about an extension?
Don't answer it, Judd.
Don't have to
Don't answer it, Judd. Don't answer it yet, Judd. Withhold your takes.
Poker face.
Yeah, crack that open. Crack that open. Before we go, though, we do have a Baldy clip from last Sunday.
Oh,
Brian Baldinger. Should we do it?
All right. Yeah.
This is 3rd and 13. This is no joke. All right? 3rd and 13 right here. Watch Kirk Cousins step up. This is what we call a pocket, like a real pocket. First of all, Seattle, you can never rush behind the quarterback. Like you're just wasting yourself. But look at that pocket. Like it's the eye of a storm. He could hit Jefferson here, but it's 3rd and 13, so he lasers it to Thielen right here.
The eye of the storm.
That's
baby.
a great
Football.
Brian Baldinger doesn't just like football, he loves football.
Baldy, dude. That was a great pocket.
Yeah, and I think the line did a good job of redirecting those 2 guys as well a bit, because they're trying to come in behind him to strip the ball, at least from the blind side.
Yeah.
I love Baldy. I could watch Baldy break down Sunday's games all day. I really enjoy it.
Sometimes you just got to try the quick jam. The quick jam. Bam. Just get on him. Get on him as quick as you can. Boom. Then get off him. And then get ready to dance. Shuffle, slide. Shuffle, slide.
Football, yeah!
You know Judd does the exact quick jam bam and the shuffle slide every time he goes from the couch to the fridge to grab that Surly Furious.
I would like to drink Surly's with Baldy. I think it'd be great.
That'd be super fun. Yeah, I'd like to talk insurance with Baldy. Be great. Federated Insurance.
Bam.
Baldy.
They're there. Something happens. Bam.
Risk management.
Federated there.
Risk management. Bam. Quick jab. They're here to protect your bottom line as a business against risks that could eat away at said bottom line. They've been around for over 100 years. I mean, not the same people. Otherwise, they'd be super old. But they've got some really smart people there at Federated that can help your business, help you sleep better at night. Federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. That's right. Rick Muehlman cackling to himself going into this Browns game.
Well, be careful. Be careful, Rick. Don't get too hotty yet, Rick.
No, this is going to be fun, though. This is going to be fun.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And we got you covered every day. Daily Vikings entertainment here on Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company. See you guys tomorrow.